Good day. Today we have the lesson 41, and first is the theory words for the lesson 41. First word, we have the word mic, and this is how we write the word mic. Don't forget the capitalization. Next word, we have the word locker. That is how we write the word locker. Next is the word second. That's how we write the word second. For our next word, we have the word 11 a.m. So in this one, we have to write the number 11, and this is the symbol for a.m. Next one, we have the word useful. And for our last word in theory words, we have the word return. And that is for our theory words. And for our brief forms for lesson 41, we have the word hours. And this is how we write the word hours. Next one, we have the word this. That's how you write the word this. Next, we have the word where. It's like a letter E. Next, we have the word there. Next one, for the brief forms, we have the word after. And that's how you write the word after. Next is the word when. And lastly, for our brief forms, we have the word them. And that's it for our brief forms. And lastly, we have the phrases for our lesson 41. First phrase is the phrase I will be glad. And this is how you write the phrase I will be glad. And next one, we have the phrase you have. That's how you write the phrase you have. Next one, we have the phrase I am sure. Okay. Ulitin natin. Next one, we have the phrase you will be able. And for our last phrase, we have the phrase onda. And that is for our phrases for lesson 41. So for our lesson 41, related numbers in a sentence. In previous lessons, the following number rules were presented. So for this lesson, we need to spell out the numbers 1 through 10 within a sentence. Use figures for the numbers 11 and above within a sentence. If a number is used at the beginning of a sentence, spell it out. An additional number rule is listed below with examples. If there is a series of related numbers 1 through 10 in a sentence, express all of them in words. If one or more of the related numbers is above 10, write all them in figures. The sentence here is there are 5. So we write the number 5 secretaries. Secretaries and 8, and write the number 8 assistants. And period. And for our next example, we have the sentence, we ordered 6 notebooks and 30 envelopes. So we write, we ordered, write the number 6 notebooks and write the number 30, the word envelope, and don't forget the period. So read it as, we ordered 6 notebooks and 30 envelopes. And for our next sentence, we have the we purchased 15 tapes and 20 records. This is how we write it. We purchased, write the number 15 tapes and write the number 20 and the word records. And period. So read it as, we purchased 15 tapes and 20 records. So for our lesson 42, we have the theory word Garcia. And this is how you write the word Garcia. And comma. And for our next word, we have the word pleasure. And that's how we write the word pleasure. Next word, we have the word receive. And that's how you write the word receive. Next, we have the various. And that's how you write the word various. Next naman, we have the word items. So we write the word items like this. Next word, we have the word returns. And next word, we have the word handle. Forget that. For our last theory word, we had the word forward. And that is for our theory words in lesson 42. So next for our lesson 42, we have the brief forms. First word, we have the word order. And that's how you write the word order. Next, we have the word products. That's how you write the word products. For our next word, we have the word enclose. Next word, we have the word represents. That's how we write the word represents. Next word, we have the word satisfied. That's how you write the word satisfied. For our last brief forms, we have the word business. And that's how we write the word business. Also, we have the phrases for our lesson 42. So, the first phrase we have is the phrase, dear miss. Dear miss. So, next phrase, we have the phrase, to us. That's how you write it. And next word, phrase, we have the phrase, this will. And next phrase, we have the phrase, we hope that. And that's how you write the phrase, we hope that. For our next phrase, we have the phrase, with our. And that's how you write the phrase, with our. For our last phrase, we have the phrase, cordially yours. And that's how you write the cordially yours. That's for our phrases for our lesson 42. So for this lesson, you need to be reminded about the punctuations or commas in a series. So when 3 or more items are listed in a series, and the last item is preceded by the word and, or nor, place a comma before the conjunction and between the other items. So we have an example here. The folder contained letters, memos, and forms. So we write the sentence, the folder contained letters, memos, and forms. The folder contained letters, this is how you write the comma. So next word, we have the word memos. Next is comma before the conjunction and. And we write the word and. And the last word, we have the word forms. And period. So that's how you write the sentence, the folder contained letters, memos, and forms. So we write the comma before the conjunction and between the other items. So for our next example, we have the sentence, Meetings will be held in Chicago, Boston, Los Angeles, or Seattle. So you write that sentence. Meetings will be held in Chicago, comma, Boston, comma, Los Angeles, comma, or Seattle. Period. So we write the comma before the conjunction or. So we read this as meetings will be held in Chicago, Boston, Los Angeles, or Seattle. Next lesson, we have the lesson 43 and we have the theory words again. And for our first word, we have the word Clark. Next word, we have the word magazine. Next, we have the word article. And next word, we have the word effective. And for our next word, we have the word collection. Next, we have the word just. Next, we have the word kind. Next one, we have the item. Next, we have creative. Next one, we have patient. Next one, we have the word months. And for our last word, we have the word accommodate. And that is for our theory words for lesson 43 rather. So also we have the phrases for lesson 43. So first phrase is the phrase thank you. That's just how we write the word thank you. Next one, we have the phrase very much. So next phrase, we have the phrase from our. Next, we have the phrase at this time. Next phrase, we have the phrase that will. And that is for our phrases in lesson 43. And for our communication skill builder in lesson 43, the similar words is stationary and stationary. So stationary means fixed or not movable, while the stationary means that writing materials. So we have an example here. The price index is stationary. So this is how you write it. The price index is, this is how you write the word stationary. Period. Remember, the word stationary means fixed or not movable. And for our next example, we have the sentence, I have ordered stationery with our new address. So, I have ordered stationery with our new address. So we can see here that the word stationary and stationery is written the same, but means different.
In lesson 44, we will be discussing the following theory words, brief forms, as, if, and when clauses, as well as the transcription warm-up. Now let's proceed first with theory words. We have here 9 theory words. First, we have here personnel committee. Next is 2 p.m. Next is attach. Next is agenda. Next is items. Next is discuss. Next is response. Sounds of S-P-O-N-S for response. Next is attendance. And lastly, appreciated. We also have here 3 brief forms. Brief form is a shortened word or special abbreviation. First, we have here memorandum. Next is immediate. And lastly, regarding. The writing of 2 or more brief forms together is what we call the brief forms phrases. These are the examples. There will be. There will be. Next is of the. Of the. Next is for the. For the. Let me.
is simply just let me or let me. If you have, if you have. Next is to have, to have. Next is you will be able, you will be able. Next is will be, will be.
As, if, and when clauses. A group of words that begin a sentence with as, if, or when, followed by a subject and a predicate, is an introductory clause. An introductory clause is dependent on the remaining part of the sentence and should have a comma to set it aside from the rest of the sentence. Be sure the comma is placed at the end of the clause that is introduced by as, if, or when. Note that the as, if, and when clauses are indicated by a comma. For instance, as you know, we will be open Monday through Saturday. As you can see, the comma there is placed at the end of the clause that is introduced by as. As you know is an introductory clause in a sentence where it begins with as and followed by a subject which is you and then a predicate know. Another example, if you need additional assistance, let me know. Same thing and same rule, we will place comma at the end of the clause that is introduced by as, if, or when. So here in our sentence, we use if to begin our sentence, and if you need additional assistance is an introductory clause of if. Therefore, we will place the comma after the word assistance because let me know is another part of the sentence. Lastly, when the shipment is received, I will notify you. So here in our sentence, we use when to begin our sentence, followed by a subject and a predicate. Therefore, we will place a comma after the introductory clause of when. And one thing, why we will need to put comma in these cases? Simply because to set it aside from the rest of the sentence. Obviously, I will notify you is another part of the sentence. And when the shipment is received is a clause introduced by when.
Let us try the transcription warm-up 44.2. So first outline we have here gentlemen, so this is a brief form. Next is efficient, Los Angeles, Oakland, family, happy, facing, problems, worry, choosing, $7,000. Of these, thank you for the, were not, and yours very truly. In theory words, we have here 100 reams. 100 reams. Next is bond. B-O-N-D for bond. Next is delighted. Delighted. Next is first. Next is received. Next is firm. Another one is process. P-R-O, S and T for processed. Next is sincere. Sincere. Next is also. Next is catalog. catalog. Next is lowest. For lowest. And lastly, industry. For industry. New set of reforms, we have gentlemen, J and then men. Next is order. Next is yesterday. Next is where. Next is one. Then soon. Next is manufacture. And then products. For brief form phrases, we have here from you or from your. From you or from your. Next is it was. It was. Next, has been. Has been. Next is you should have. You should have. Next is this will be. This will be. And then yours very truly. Yours very truly.
Now let's go into differentiate these two similar words, past and past. The word past that ends with T is a noun, means time gone by. For instance, we received several requests in the past week. While the word past with ed is a verb that means moved from one point to another, and it is a past tense of pass. For instance, we passed this building several times.
Transcription warm-up 45.2. Wiley opened, charge $2,400, promptly, mistake, perhaps, simply, overlook, it has been, let me, and is in. We have heard 12 sets of theory words. First is management. Management. Next is decided. Next is Camden. Next is customers. Next is official. Next is announcement. Announcement. Next is tomorrow. Tom. O-R-O for tomorrow. Next is woods. Woods. Next is many. Next is years. And then address. And lastly, letterhead. Letterhead. We have our 6 brief forms. Let's start with office. Office. Next is representative. Representative. Next is several. Several. Next is orders. Orders. Next is correspondence. Next is direct. Brief form phrases contains 2 or more brief forms together. So first we have here, you will be glad. You will be glad. Next, to know. Next is that hour. That hour. And lastly, we are. We are.
Differentiating between council and council. A noun council means that an assembly. For instance, the meeting of the city council will be held in February, while the verb counsel means to give advice. For example, Dr. Jennings will counsel my daughter.
Transcription warm-up 46.2. First outline we have here community. Next is adult, silent L. Education, program. Excelled, cities, 1000, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Approximately, interested. As you know, let me, and if you.
Account, pleasure, effective, shorthand, conventions.
So before we start our lesson, we have words here from our past lessons, and we are going to transcribe it into shorthand to serve as a practice activity. So first word, we have the word period. And that is how you write the word period. Next one, we have the word awaits. So you must not forget the dot here, because that dot represents the sound a. Next one, we have the word exceedingly. This one, you must not forget the circle here, because that circle represents the word li. So for our next word, we have the word anniversary. And that is how you write the word anniversary. For our last word, we have the relationship. So you must not forget the line here, because that line represents the word ship.
Dear Mrs. Temple, very often I have written to someone to ask why we have not received payment for items purchased on account, period. That is not why I am writing to you today. Today, we receive the final payment from you for the furniture you purchased from us last year, period. There was not one occasion I had to write to you and remind you to send us your payment. Your excellent credit record at our store means that there is no credit limit on your next purchase, period. We will be glad to serve as a credit reference for you should the need arise, period. Cordially yours.